Okay. So we'll start in a seated position. So for those of you that are new to yoga, we all know how to do this, so this is good. For most people, that's cross-legged. If that's not comfortable for you, feel free to find any position that works for you. If you have a blanket, towel, or block, you can put that under your seat to raise your hips above your knees, and that might make things more comfortable for you, or you can even fold your mat over. And just place your hands on your knees. Tuck your chin slightly. Pull your ribs back over your hips. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. And just try to reach up through the crown of your head like there's a string from the sky to the crown of your head. And take some breaths here. Inhale in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Inhaling, filling the chest and the belly. Exhale, releasing all the pressures and stresses of your day. Just being here in this beautiful place, doing some yoga. And even just sitting in peace with our breath is part of that yoga before we even get to any of the postures. On your next inhale, bring your arms up over your head. Exhale, palms together. Bring your hands to heart center. Press the thumbs into the chest. Connect with your heart. Maybe allowing the eyes to close if that's comfortable for you. And just allowing yourself to arrive. And on your next exhale, release the hands. So we'll start with a little bit of movement. We'll inhale the arms up overhead and exhale into a twist. So you're going to bring your left hand to your right knee. Right hand goes behind the back. And with each inhale, you're going to reach up through the crown of your head. And with each exhale, you'll twist just a little bit deeper, very gently, not forcing or cranking here. Just inhale. Tucking the chin, reaching up through the crown of the head, keeping that beautiful natural curve to the spine. Exhale, maybe looking over the back shoulder if that's available to you. Good. And Jay, if it's comfortable for you and your legs are straight, you can bend one knee if that works for you and do the twist that way. On your next inhale, coming back to center, arms up over the head. Exhale, palms together, hands to the heart. And we'll just reset here for a breath. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, right hand to the left knee, left hand drops behind. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, twisting just a little bit deeper. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, twisting a little bit deeper. Maybe looking over the back shoulder. Inhaling the arms up overhead as you come back to center. Exhale, palms together, hands to the heart. Good. Bring your hands back to your knees here, and we'll start to just rotate the spine. So as you inhale, bringing the chest forward, and exhale, reaching back through that space between the shoulder blades, just moving the spine around in each direction. You can close your eyes here if that feels good. Just feeling that movement. Many of us have probably been sitting for a lot of the day. And this helps to bring some of that movement back into the spine. Moving with the breath. Head and neck are relaxed. Good. On your next inhale, change directions. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. And as this movement starts to feel complete, like you've completed this on both sides, you can start to come back to stillness in the center of your mat. So from here, we'll just do some movement of the neck. So bring your right ear to your right shoulder, and you can reach up with your right hand and just place it on the left ear, not pulling on the head, just resting the hand there. And releasing through the neck. You can play with your left, like with your left arm with some movement here, lifting and lowering it, moving it front and back through that range of motion. And some of those spots might feel like they need a little more attention. So just take some time there to pause and breathe into that stretch. Just exploring how your body needs to move tonight. This is your practice. So if there's anything that feels great, feel free to stay there. If there's anything that doesn't feel good, feel free to modify or move on. So we'll inhale back to center and just give ourselves one breath to reset. And on our next exhale, we'll tilt the left ear to the left shoulder and bring the left hand to the right ear, just placing it there, no pressure. Maybe crawling the right fingers away, feeling that stretch to the shoulder and the neck, and then moving the arm if that feels good to you. Finding that spot that just needs a little extra love today. Moving with your breath. And if you're staying in one spot, just staying with the breath, noticing all the micro movements that go into that stretching. And when you're ready, inhaling back to center. Good. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Great. So we'll move to our hands and knees to move the spine a little bit more. And I'll start out this way and then I'll turn around so you guys can see me that way too. So you're going to line up your knees under your hips and shoulders, elbows, and wrists in line so that your joints are stacked to protect them and to avoid the kind of dumping the weight into one joint. Root down through your fingertips and your knuckles so that you're not just pressing with the palm, you're pressing with the whole hand here. Head and neck are relaxed. Biceps are wrapping back so that the eye of the elbow, the soft tissue here, is pointing forward. And as you inhale, lift the chest and the tailbone for cow pose. Belly dips toward the mat. And as you exhale, back of the shoulders lifts, tailbone drops, head drops. And for your cat pose, that arch like a Halloween cat. Inhale, chest slides forward, tailbone comes up, belly dips down. Exhale, arching for cat pose. Keep moving here with your breath. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling into cat. At your own pace, holding where it feels good. Moving as fast or as slow as you'd like to. Great. Just feeling that arch of the spine. And then coming back to the center when you're ready. And we'll wag our tail a little bit. So moving your hips to the left, looking over your left shoulder. And then moving your hips to the right, looking over the right shoulder, stretching through the side body now. So just making an arch with your body from side to side. Good. Keep rooting down through your hands and your left knee as you lift your right leg and extend it behind you. Good. And if you feel good here, root down through the right hand and lift the left arm in front of you, keeping the hips squared to the mat. If you don't want to lift the arm, you can keep it planted. Good. On your exhale, try to bring the elbow and the knee together. Inhale to extend. We'll do one more exhale together. Inhale, extend, and then coming back to center. Great, that was great. That's a little challenging. And then we'll switch sides. So we'll root down into the hands and the right knee, and we'll lift the left leg off the mat, extending it behind us, keeping our hips square to the mat, not letting the hip open up. And if you feel good here, rooting down through the left hand, the fingers, the knuckles, lifting the right arm out in front of you, keeping the shoulder pulling back so you're not hunching forward. And exhaling, bringing the elbow and the knee together. Good. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow and the knee come together. Inhale, extend. Reaching through the fingers and the toes. And exhale back to center. Good, that was great. On your next inhale, start to slide down onto your belly and come all the way to the mat. Hands are under your shoulders. Head is in neutral spine, so you're looking straight ahead. You're not putting any pressure into your hands here. You're raising through the contraction of your back muscles. Pull your elbows and shoulders back towards the center of your spine as you peel your chest off the mat for a cobra. Hands can stay on the mat or lift slightly. Exhale, come down. Inhale to lift. Good, keep going. Exhale, down. Inhale, contract those back muscles and lift up. Good. Exhale, release. And on your next inhale, if you'd like to put a little pressure into the hands, you can inhale and just lift a little bit higher. Not too high right now because we're just starting out in our practice today. We're just warming up. Good. And then exhale, come down. On your next inhale, push back into your tabletop. That all fours position. Bring your big toes together. Knees wide apart, maybe as wide as the mat. Sink your hips back to your feet, your heels. Reach your arms out in front of you and allow your forehead to come to rest on the mat. If your forehead doesn't reach the mat, you can use a block or you can use your fists under your head to rest your head there. Resting the forehead allows us to downregulate the sympathetic nervous system and turn off that fight or flight response and just enjoy that deep rest. Take some breaths here, feeling the back expand. Feel the air reach all the areas of your lungs, the back, the sides, the front. Feel your chest and your back rise and fall. Good. And on your next inhale, slide back down onto the mat, onto your belly. We'll go through one more round of cobra. So pulling the elbows and shoulders back, peel the chest off the mat. Exhale to come down. And this time, tuck your toes under, all 10 toes, tucking onto the mat, pushing into your hands, lift up into your plank. You can go to your knees, and then lift your hips up and back into your first downward facing dog. Great. So you're still rooting through the hands, you're pushing into the feet, and you're lifting the hips to the sky. The biceps are rolling back, so the armpits are pulling towards each other. That's great, Rosina. Just relax your head and neck. Allow yourself to come into the shape of an upside down V. Good. You can pedal out the feet here, bending the left knee and pushing the right heel towards the mat. And then bending the right knee and pushing the left heel towards the mat. And then on your next inhale, step as many steps as it takes you to get there towards your hands. Good. And exhale into your forward fold. Inhale, bring your hands to your shins and lift halfway. Spine is long, reaching out through the crown of the head. Exhale, release into your forward fold. From here, either allow your hands to hang and brush the mat or the earth, or maybe your hands find opposite elbows as you surrender into this forward fold, nodding your head yes and no to release the neck, maybe swaying back and forth if that feels good to you. Good. Just releasing into the fold. Bending the knees as much as you need to for comfort. To your legs, bend your knees deeply and roll up. You can use your hands to walk up your legs if that's helpful to you. When you get to the top, rolling your shoulders up, back, and down so you're hips, ribs, and shoulders are in line. Feeling the back of your skull pull back so your ears are in line with your shoulders. Turning your palms forward. Take an inhale here and exhale into your mountain pose. Pressing down through all four corners of the feet. The big toe mound, the pinky toe mound, and both sides of the heel. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands together. Come to heart center. Good. Press the thumbs into the chest. Just take a moment to breathe here. On your next exhale, release the hands to the sides. Lift your toes off the mat. Spread your toes and then press them back down into the mat so that you can feel the arches of your feet lift and the muscles engage around the bones. So you're pressing down through both feet evenly, just pressing down through all four corners of the feet. Feet are about hip width distance apart. And again, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Palms are forward. This is your mountain pose. This is a great place to come back to in your standing practice. This is where you're strong and stable, and this is your foundation. So just take a moment to feel that strength and that stability. Inhale the arms up overhead, reaching toward the sky. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. If that feels difficult to you, maybe reaching up through the pinky. That kind of helps to wrap the shoulders back away from the ears. And exhale, turn the palms out and bring the hands back down to the sides. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms out, hands back down to the sides. Inhale the arms up overhead, and this time as we exhale, we'll lean over to the right side. Still rooting down through both feet and lengthening through the side body. So this should feel long, like you're extending out of the waist. And you can turn your gaze up toward the sky, down toward the ground, or straight ahead, whatever feels good to you. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the left. Lengthening, reaching, maybe looking up to the sky. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Inhale center. Exhale, turn the palms out. Bring the hands back down to the sides. Good. Bring your feet slightly more than hip distance apart. Bend your knees. Legs are strong but buoyant here. And the arms are loose and free as we just start to rotate the upper body, allowing the arms to swing free, to make contact with the waist. In the training that I did, we called this willow tree pose. In Qigong, it's called knocking on the door of life. So we're waking up that energy and that vibrance and that experience of being alive. And from here, maybe bringing one hand up so it taps the chest as you turn, and one hand around the waist if that feels good to you. You can bring one hand so it reaches over the opposite shoulder, so you're giving yourself a pat on the back. You can lift the ankle as you turn to get a little bit more into the hips. Just stay here breathing for just another minute or moment. And then when you're ready, start to make your way back to stillness. Good. So we'll come back here, back to that mountain pose. We're going to start at the top of our mat. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhaling, folding forward into that forward fold. Inhale, plant the hands on the mat. Good. And exhale, release into that fold a little bit deeper, bending the knees. Inhale, step the right foot back. And bring the knee gently to the mat. Relax the top of the foot. If that feels good to you, if it feels better to keep the toes tucked, go ahead and do that. And then start to come up. Start to bring your hands to your thigh. From here, bring the front ribs in And feel like you're pulling the thighs toward each other to help you feel more stable in this pose. Rooting down through that front foot and the top of that back foot or the toes, however you have the back foot positioned. Release the arms to the side. See if you can get into that same arm position that you were in for your mountain pose. Great. Inhale, see if you can bring the arms up overhead. And maybe you bring your gaze up to the sky. Good. And exhale, bring the hands to the mat. Great. Inhale here. And exhale, straighten the front leg. You can push it out in front of you a little bit more if you need to. Bringing the toes so they're pointing towards your nose. If you have blocks, this is a great place to use them. You can put them next to you here to keep yourself upright. Or you can bring the arms into, this is one variation that I like, this airplane arms variation to help keep the chest open and moving forward into your half split. Good. Inhale and move back into your low lunge. Good, so rebending that front knee. Great. Exhale, fold at the hips and straighten that front leg into your half split. Good. Good. Inhale into your low lunge. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift that knee. And exhale as you step forward to meet the front foot into your forward fold. Great. And then inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale to roll standing, bringing the arms up overhead. Then exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Does everybody feel okay with that? So we're going to do that on the other side. Does anybody want to try it with blocks, or you're good? Okay. So we'll inhale, the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the Inhale, step back with the left foot and lower the knee to the mat. And then you can use your blocks here to help lift the upper body, or you can start to walk the hands up to the thigh. Stay there. Inhaling. Exhaling. Good. Pulling those thighs towards each other. Try it with the blocks. It's nice. It's like opens up the chest. If you want to, you can bring the arms up overhead here into your Anjaneyasana, pose of devotion. Pressing down through the foot and the leg. As you exhale, folding at the hips and straightening that front leg, bringing your toes towards your nose. Good. Inhale, rebending through that front leg. They help with the transition, yeah. If you want, you can bring the arms up here. Exhaling, straightening that front leg using your blocks or the mat or your airplane arms, whatever feels good to you today. Inhale, rebending into your low lunge. Exhale, planting the hands on the mat. Inhale, lifting the back knee. And stepping forward into your forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to roll up to stand, bringing the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Good. That was great. So we're going to move into some sun salutations now. If you're new, you've done all these poses. We did all of them so far. We're just going to put them together in a flow. So I will do a couple with you, and then I'll talk you through a couple, okay? So we'll start at the front of our mat in our mountain pose. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back into your plank pose, which looks suspiciously like the top of a push-up. Exhale, lower the knees, belly, chest, and chin to the mat. Inhale, pulling your elbows and shoulders back and peeling your chest up off the mat into your cobra pose. Exhale, tucking the toes and lifting the hips up and back into that downward facing dog. If that doesn't feel good to you today, you can stay right here in tabletop. Inhale here. Exhale, stepping forward as many steps as it takes to get there into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to stand, bringing the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Did that feel familiar? Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stepping back into your plank pose. Exhale, lowering all the way down onto your belly, however it feels good for you to get there. Inhaling into your cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back into your downward facing dog or stay in tabletop. Inhale here. Exhale, stepping forward to meet your hands into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise, bringing the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. So we'll go through a couple more of those. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back into your plank. Exhale, knees down, lie down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, step forward to meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lift when you get there. Exhale, fold. And inhale, either rolling up, walking up the legs, or reversing that swan dive all the way up. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. One more. And I'm just going to talk you through this one. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stepping back into your plank pose. Exhale, knees down, lie down. Inhale, cobra, pulling the elbows and the shoulders back, lifting the chest. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog or tabletop. Maybe pedaling the feet out here if that feels good to you. Inhaling, exhaling as you step forward, as many steps as it takes you to get to the top of the mat to meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale to rise. Arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. That was beautiful, everybody. Good. So we'll do a little bit of balancing here because I think you're ready. So you're going to bring your feet closer together, still rooting down evenly through the feet. Toes are spread wide, but your feet are so close together that your big toes are almost touching. Transfer all of your weight into your right foot and begin to lift your heel off the mat. Open that left knee so that your pelvis is still aligned forward with the ribs and the shoulders, but that knee is open. Your hip is in external rotation. You can keep the toes on the mat, or you can start to lift slightly so that your foot is on your calf and the foot and the leg are pressing against each other like you're trying to hold something there and keep it from falling. If that feels good to you, you can lift the foot and put it into the thigh, avoiding the knee joint. You don't ever want to put the foot on top of the knee joint. Wherever it feels good to you. If you keep your toes on the mat, you get the same benefit. Hands can be at the heart, on the waist, or you can spread your branches wide if your balance is feeling pretty good today. It helps to pick a spot about 2 feet in front of you. Exhale, lower the hands, lower the foot. I'm not going to keep you there while I talk to you about balance. So picking a spot about 2 feet in front of you that's not moving, so not the person in front of you, and just bringing your soft gaze to that spot can help keep you from falling over. So if you are having trouble with balance on the first round, go ahead and give that a try. So we'll transfer all of our weight into the left foot. Toes are spread wide. As we start to lift the right heel off the mat, maybe pressing the insole of the foot against the ankle, lifting up to the calf. Remember, pressing them together like you're trying to hold some precious jewel there. Or bringing it all the way up to the thigh as we bring our hands to the heart or up overhead. That looks great, Kristen. And if you want, you can bring your gaze up, but I always fall down when I do that, so I choose the spot in front of me. Good. Exhale, bring the hands down, bring the foot down. Great. Good. Let's try that one more time on each side now that you guys are feeling pretty good about it. So we'll put all that weight into the right foot, toes are spread. We'll bring the left heel off the mat to the ankle, calf, or thigh. Hands to the heart, the waist, or overhead. Opening through that hip. Good. Great. And exhale, hands down, foot down. Was it better the second time? Pressing all the weight into the left foot, spreading the toes, lifting that right ankle, opening that hip as we bring the foot to wherever it feels good to you today. Maybe focusing on that spot about 2 feet in front of you. You know, maybe one side the balance doesn't feel as great, so you need that little kickstand there, and that's okay. Exhaling the hands down and releasing the foot. Awesome. All right, so we'll go back into our mountain pose. Inhaling the arms up as we step back with the right foot, but this time we're gonna keep the knee lifted. We're still gonna bend deeply through that front knee so that the knee is aligned over the ankle. Reaching up through the hands, pulling the front ribs in so that shoulders, ribs, and hips are aligned for our crescent pose. We can bring a little back bend in here as we look up. And inhale, straighten the leg, lower the arms. Exhale, bend the knee, raise the arms. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bend the knee. Great. On your next inhale, we're going to point the back toes toward the long edge of the mat. So we move from here to here. The heel and the arch have an invisible line between them. So your front toes are still pointing straight ahead and your back toes are pointing toward the side of the mat. Keep that deep bend through the front knee so that your knee and ankle are aligned. Good. Arms come out like an extension of your heart. Flip the palms up to release the shoulders, and then just the palms flip back down. Gaze out over that front middle finger. The front knee is tracking toward the pinky toe. So the front knee will be lined up with like your second and third toe. Good. And that is warrior 2. Hug those front ribs in so that you're not leaning too far one way or the other. Can you bend through this knee a little bit deeper? And then bring it back just a little bit and then maybe move it out. Yeah. How's that feel? Good. Good. Great. Good. And then you can straighten that front leg and then bend again into your warrior 2. Good. So from here, we're going to bring that front arm onto the bent knee. The forearm comes to the bent knee. Not dumping in, but just resting there. And then we'll sweep that back arm down and up overhead. So you're creating the longest line that we've made so far from the back pinky toe, the outside edge of the back foot, all the way out through these fingers that are reaching over your head. And maybe your gaze comes up. Good. And then inhale back into your warrior 2. And exhale, straighten the leg. We'll bring our toes to both face the long edge of the mat. Good. And hug the elbow, bring the hands to the waist, hug the elbows back. Looking up, chest comes forward. Exhale, leading with the chest into a wide-legged forward fold. Stopping halfway and releasing to the mat, bringing the hands to the mat. Releasing the head and the neck just like we did in our other forward fold. And then on your next inhale, bring the hands to the legs and start to work your way back up. From here, we can come back to the front. I want to get everybody lined back up again. And then we'll move to the other side. So we'll step back with our left foot and bend deeply through that right knee aligned over the right ankle, and tracking out towards the outside of the foot as we lift our arms up overhead, hugging the front ribs in, releasing the shoulders for crescent pose. Inhale, lower the arm, straighten the leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale to rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale to rise. Exhale, lower. Good. And then on your next inhale, turning that back foot towards the long edge of your mat, keeping a deep bend in the front knee, bringing the arms out wide for warrior two. On the other side. Good. So bending through that front knee, keeping it lined up over the ankle, tracking out towards that pinky toe for that external rotation of the hip. Awesome. Looking out over that front middle finger, strong and powerful in this warrior pose. Inhaling to rise up out of that bend for just a second, and then exhale back down into that. Inhale, bringing the forearm to the front leg, sweeping that back arm down in front of the face and up overhead so that the palm is down and the fingers are reaching out over your head. Awesome. For extended side angle. Pressing down through the outside edge of that back foot. Inhale, rising back into your warrior two. Exhale here. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Turning both feet to face the long edge of your mat. If you need to, you can step the stance in a little bit. Bringing the hands to the waist, elbows back, chest up into a little bit of a back bend here. Inhaling, and then exhaling, leading with the chest as you come back into that wide-legged forward fold. Hands can come to the mat or to blocks, to the ankles, whatever feels good for you here. You can bend the knees as much as you need to make this comfortable for you. Inhale, bring the body over the right leg. You can bend the right leg a little bit more to make this comfortable for you. Releasing the head and the neck. Shaking your head yes and no. Inhale back to center. And exhale over to the left, bending the right knee, releasing the body over the left leg. Inhaling back to center. Exhale here. Inhale, bring your hands to the legs as you walk or roll yourself up to standing. Good. We'll start to make our way back down to the mat here. We're going to come back to the front of our mats. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back into your plank pose. Exhale, lower down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back for your last downward facing dog. Really pushing those hips to the sky. If you're in down dog, if you're in tabletop, maybe doing some cat and cow here. Pedaling out the feet. And then as you exhale, lowering down onto the knees, bringing them as wide as the mat, bringing the big toes together, hips to the heels, arms out in front of you, sinking back down into your child's pose, and just taking a moment there to rest and absorb all that standing work that we just did. So just taking a moment here. And on your next inhale, walking yourself back up and coming to a seat, however it feels good for you to get there. Extend your legs out in front of you and bring your hands next to your hips. Rooting down through the hands, pressing the calves and the heels into the mat or the earth. Lifting the chest, tucking the chin, reaching up through the crown of the head for staff pose. In this pose, the staff is that line of energy that runs up the center of your body. So on the exhale, really feel the abdomen engage, the belly button pull in and up. Good. And exhale, release. Great. We'll bring our soles of our feet together into butterfly pose. This pose is really individual. You know, some people feel great with the heels really close to the body. Some people like to bring the heels a little further away. I like to give myself a little foot massage here. It's a good excuse for that. Inhale the chest forward. And exhale, just folding and releasing over the legs. As you breathe in here, feel your body fill with air, like you're inflating like a balloon. And then as you exhale, feel yourself fold and release. Rising and falling with the breath. On your next inhale, coming back to center, bringing the right foot to the inside of the left leg, and moving the left leg slightly out at like maybe a 45-ish degree angle. You can use a block here. We're going to do some forward folding, or you can just reach for the ground with your hands or your forearms. So inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale as you fold forward. Maybe finding the ground with your hands, your forearms. If you're really flexible, you may be able to go even deeper than that. If you rest the forearms on a block here, sometimes you can deepen the stretch by allowing your head to drop between the arms. Just take a few breaths here. Inhale to rise. Exhale, straighten both legs back out. Inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, folding forward over your legs. You can bend the knees here to make this a little more accessible. It doesn't matter how far you go. If you have great flexibility, reach for your feet. If your hands are on your thighs, that's also okay. If your knees are bent, that's great. There's a saying that yoga is not about touching your toes. It's about what you learn on the way down. And inhale to rise. And we'll bring the left foot into the right thigh, bringing that right leg out at a little bit of an angle. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward. And just resting here, however feels comfortable to you. Keeping that foot active like you're standing on it. And on your next inhale, we'll rise back up. Bend the knees and place the feet on the mat just in front of you. Place your hands next to your hips. And just stay here if that feels good to you. If you want to challenge yourself a little more, you can start to lift one foot at a time. Or maybe you lift both feet, keeping the chest lifted. Good. And then lowering the feet. Now bringing the hands to the backs of the knees if that feels good to you. If not, stay right where you just were. Lifting one foot at a time, keeping the chest lifted so that it's close to the thighs. And if you're feeling good here, lifting both feet off the mat. If you're feeling really good here, releasing the arms for boat pose. And if you'd like to, you can straighten the legs. Good. Try to keep the chest lifted. And exhale, release. Awesome, guys. So straighten both legs out in front of you. Bend the right knee. You can keep the foot on the inside of the thigh, or you can cross it over to the outside of the thigh. We're going to go into one more seated twist. As we inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, hugging the knee with the left arm, placing the right arm behind us to twist over to that right side. Remember what we talked about in the beginning. On each inhale, you're going to lengthen up through the spine. And on each exhale, twisting just a little bit deeper. Not forcing, just allowing the body to move in that direction. Move with your breath. Inhale back to center. Straighten both legs. Exhale here. Inhale to bend the left knee, either placing it to the inside or crossing it over. And we'll bring the right arm around the left knee and the left arm behind us as we inhale to lengthen and exhale to twist. Keeping the feet active. Left foot pressing into the mat. Right foot is active like you're standing on it. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to twist, and then inhale as we come back to center. Good. So as you inhale here, just take a moment to rest in that seated position and exhale, lowering to the mat, trying to come down one vertebra at a time. You can use your hands if you need to. And when you get to the mat, hug both knees into your chest. The knees can be close together or they can be wide apart, like maybe more towards your armpits, whatever feels good to you. As you rock side to side, giving the low back a massage, maybe moving in some circles. Hug the right knee in and straighten the left leg. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe making some circles with that right hip. Inhale both knees into the chest. And exhale here. And then inhale, stretch the right leg out long and hug that left knee in. Maybe making some circles with that left knee and hip. Inhale both knees into the chest and rock here. Exhale, bring the feet to the mat. And we'll do some bridge pose. So for bridge, I want you to just start by pushing the hands and the feet into the mat. As you inhale, press the low back into the mat and just lift the pelvis up slightly. And then exhale to release. And then on your next inhale, maybe you lift the pelvis and the low back, coming up just a little bit higher. And exhale to release. And then on your next inhale, maybe it's the pelvis, the low back, the mid back, and maybe getting a little bit into the upper back. You can walk your shoulders towards each other and maybe clasping your hands under your back and reaching your hands toward your heels as you root down through the heels. Good. And then exhale, coming down one vertebra at a time. Inhale both knees into the chest. Exhale, bring your arms out wide and let your knees drop over to the right side. Gaze can be over the left arm, over the right arm, or straight up into the sky. Whatever feels good to you. Trying to keep that left shoulder on the mat. Inhale, both knees into the chest. Take a moment here. And on your next exhale, arms come out wide and both knees drop over to the right. Or to the left, right? To the left. To the other side. Keep trying to keep both shoulders on the mat here. Inhaling and exhaling. Just letting this twist release all that energy that we've built up during this practice, all the stresses of the day. Inhale the knees back to center. Exhale here. Inhale as you bring your head up to your knees, curling into a tight little ball. Inhale, hold the breath here, and then exhale as you release everything down to the mat. Feet come out wide, maybe as wide as the mat, allowing your feet to drop out to the sides. Arms are wide. If you'd like to cover yourself here, this is a good opportunity to do it. We're going to be moving into our resting pose or shavasana. It's where we start to integrate the practice and just allow ourselves those final moments of rest. So palms are facing up to the sky, arms are wide, legs are wide. As we move into rest and relaxation, start to notice the breath return to its normal rate and rhythm. You can stay in this position or maybe bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the chest if that's comforting to you. Maybe you allow the eyes to close. We're going to be here for a few minutes, just resting and absorbing this practice. Allow any thoughts to come and go. Don't fight them. Allow them to rise. Allow them to pass. Just connecting with the area around you. Connecting with your body, with your breath. Sometimes we think that thoughts arising is messy, and so we try to relax and we try to be mindful and we try to meditate, and sometimes this makes it even more difficult for us. So just waiting and resting in that place can give us some reassurance. There's this great story that I love about the Buddha where he is with his people and they're by this river, and he asks one of his helpers to go get him some water. So the monk goes down to the water, and what he sees are animals crossing the river and people bathing and swimming, and the water looks really dirty and brown and kind of chaotic. And he goes back to the Buddha and he says, "I can't get you water from that river. It's brown and muddy and awful." And the Buddha says, "So we'll just wait." So they wait there and they rest. And they just take their time in that place. And then the monk goes back to the river and the water is clear. So he brings the Buddha some water. And the Buddha says, "See, sometimes all we need to do is wait and things will settle." So when those thoughts arise, practice responding instead of reacting. Examining them and just waiting. Knowing that everything changes. And eventually we'll reach a place of stillness. On your next in-breath, bring your attention to the top of your head and allow yourself to scan down your body. Finding any areas of tension, but also anywhere that you feel really good today. And noticing that balance. On your next inhale, starting at your big toes, feel a sense of relaxation spread over you. From your toes to your ankles, to your lower legs, to your upper legs. Hips and thighs relaxed, entire lower body relaxed. Belly, back, chest, arms and shoulders. Your face, maybe separating your teeth, allowing your tongue to relax away from the roof of your mouth. Allowing your eyes to relax and your forehead to unwrinkle and relax. Just lay here. Connect with that breath and the area around us. And just take a few moments in stillness and silence here. And in a few moments, I'll ring a chime and I'll help you to come back out of that place of stillness, that clear water. All you need to do now is breathe and rest. You're completely supported by your mat, by the ground, by the earth. Start to take some deeper breaths here. Start to wiggle the toes and the fingers, bringing some movement back into the body. Maybe allowing that movement to spread up the legs and up the arms, moving your hips and your shoulders, turning your head from side to side. Just allowing yourself to come back into the present moment, into the area around you, into your consciousness. On your next inhale, if you're ready for that, roll over onto your side and just curl up for just a moment in the fetal position, just allowing yourself that moment of comfort and safety. And then when you're ready, start to push yourself up into a seat, right back where we started. Just resting your hands on your knees, taking some breaths here. I have this deck of Rumi quotes, and I pulled this card out of there that I wanted to share with you guys. It says, "All thoughts, happy or sad, are guests in your heart. Welcome them." So I want to thank you for letting me guide you in this practice tonight. We had some perfect weather and a perfect night for it. I really appreciate you all being here. And our next important move is from our mats into the rest of our lives. So I hope you found something tonight that you can carry with you, even if it's just that you showed up and made time for yourself. So on our next inhale, we'll bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Inhaling here and exhaling. Inhaling the thumbs to the forehead. And remembering that all thoughts, happy or sad, are guests in our heart and we welcome them. And exhaling, releasing the hands to the side. And thanks for joining me. I hope to see you guys all again soon.